Today we're going to talk about solving systems of linear equations, but in this case we're going to eliminate a variable. Our goal is to use either addition or subtraction. I'll show you a little bit about multiplication, how we can eliminate variables, solve for a variable really quickly, and then plug it back in to solve for the other. So in this case I've got negative x plus 4y is equal to negative 14. X minus y is equal to 8. It's not easy to substitute, but if you notice on top and bottom I've got a positive x and a negative x. So if I add top to bottom, what happens is that x's, or both those x's, cancel out. Now if I add top to bottom, 4y minus 1y is 3y. Then I also have negative 14 plus 8 is, in this case, negative 6. Divide by 3, and I get y is equal to negative 2. What I want to do is I want to take that negative 2 for y and plug it back into one of the equations. In this case, I'm going to plug it back into this bottom one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this right here, and I'm going to plug it in right there. And when I plug it in, x minus a negative 2 equals positive 8. Negative and negative become a positive, subtract 2, and I get x equals 6. And I write my final equation as 6 comma negative 2. So again, you're going to get numbers. There should be whole numbers. Make sure you're getting the correct ones when you plug it back in. Let's try another. So I've got negative 7x plus 2y is equal to 3. Negative 2x minus 2y is equal to 6. Again, I can eliminate, in this case, the y's. The y values can be eliminated because that's a positive and a negative, and they have the same number. If I add top to bottom, that gives me negative 9x equals 9. Divide by negative 9, x is equal to negative 1. And then I plug it back in. It does not matter if I plug it back into the top or the bottom. In this case, I'm going to plug it back into the top. So that's negative 7 times negative 1 plus 2y is equal to 3. Negative times a negative is a positive. If I subtract the 7 on both sides, that gives me 2y is equal to 4. In this case, negative 4. And then I divide by 2. That's negative 2. So then my final answer is negative 1, negative 2. Let's try another example here. Here I've got two of them. In this case, I'm going to do the same process for the first one, where I'm going to add top to bottom. If I do so, these ones cancel out. And if I add top to bottom, I should get negative 19. Let's see if this will work for me. That should be a 9. And then, in this case, y is equal to negative 19. And then since I'm dividing, I'm going to get y is equal to 1. Now, it does not matter which one of these I plug back into. It just kind of depends on what you feel like. Some people like to just do the top ones and just go from there. Some people like to pick which one's easier. I'm going to pick the bottom one in this case. So that's going to be 4x minus 10y. Or 10 times 1 in this case. So I can get a 0 here to work. Sorry, my computer is not going the way I expect. And that's negative 14. If I do negative 10 times 1, that's negative 10. And if I add it, that becomes positive 10. So that would be 4x equals negative 4. Now, dividing by 4, that's going to give me x is equal to negative 1. Now, I write my answer always with parentheses. So that's going to be negative 1, comma 1. And then that would be my final answer. If I do the same thing on the next one, I can't add them and get rid of things. I can actually subtract. So if I take this one right here and I subtract it from the top, so you can actually do that. You can add and subtract. Negative 7x minus a negative 5 means you're adding 5. So that's negative 2x. That's supposed to be a 2. and that's supposed to be x. I'm sorry it's not showing the 2 very well. 10 minus 10 actually cancels this out. And then negative 10 minus a negative 30 equals a positive 20. My computer's going really slow, I don't know why. If I divide by negative 2 on both sides, I get x is actually equal to negative 10. Now, if I plug it back in, I can pick top or bottom. It does not matter which one. In this case, I'll go with top. So if I go negative 7 times negative 10, that's actually going to give me 70. And that's plus 10y. I know I'm trying to draw this, but it's not going very well. And that's equal to negative 10. If I subtract the 70 on both sides, that gives me negative 80. Negative 80 divided by 10, in this case y, is equal to negative 8. So then my answer I write in parentheses, x is equal to negative 10, so I put that first. And then at the other part, it's negative 8. Let's see if this will show up. And there we go. Again, whole numbers for our answers. That should make it work. The last thing we're going to talk about is multiplication. So when we solve systems of equations with elimination, sometimes we might have to multiply one of the equations to make it work. So in this case, I've got x minus y is equal to negative 6. 11x plus 10y is equal to 18. Now we need to figure out what's the easiest thing to multiply to get rid of a letter. And we want to make sure if we have positive and a negative, that helps us out too. In this case, the y has a positive and a negative, so we'll multiply the top equation, just the top one, by 10. If we do so, that gives me 10x minus 10y equals negative 60. So you got to multiply the whole top. The bottom, we didn't change anything. Now what's going to happen is that now I have negative 10y and positive 10y. Those cancel out. So I can eliminate that, and now it's just a matter of adding top to bottom. So you might have to multiply one equation first. 10x plus 11x is 21x. Negative 60 plus 48 is negative 42. In this case, divide by 21, I get x is equal to negative 2. Now it doesn't matter which one you plug it back into, either the top or bottom, you pick. In this case, I picked the top one. So I put negative 2 in for x, minus y is equal to negative 6. Add the 2 to both sides, that's negative 4. Divide by negative 1, that equals positive 4. And my answer is negative 2, 4. Let's try one last example. In this case, I've got 3x plus 4y is equal to 11. X plus 2y is equal to 5. I want to figure out what I want to plug in, and it kind of just depends on how you feel. Some people might pick negative 3 to multiply to get rid of the x. Other people might pick negative 2 to get rid of the y. So either way you do it, you should get the same answer. So there's kind of multiple ways of looking at it. So if I do that, that gives me 3x plus 4y equals 11 on top. That has not changed. On the bottom, I get negative 2x minus 4y is equal to negative 10, because negative 2 times everything gives me that. The y's are going to cancel out. And then 3x plus negative 2x is x. 11 plus negative 10 is 1. Hey, it's already solved. Don't have to worry about it. Now, if I plug it back in, it just kind of depends. I believe in this case, I plug it into the bottom. So 1 plus 2y is equal to 5. Subtract 1, then divide by 2. In this case, y is equal to 2. And my final answer is 1, 2. So again, you might have to add, you might have to subtract, you might have to multiply, but no matter what, you're going to end up adding things together and solve for one letter, then solve for the other letter, and again, write your answers in parentheses.